Good evening, everyone. So today we'll discuss about operating systems. There are mainly two types of operating systems we have. One is Windows operating system. This Windows operating system is designed by Microsoft company, and the source code of Windows operating system. Source code means what? The programs which are written to develop this Windows operating system. That source code is like very confidential. You cannot get the code. You cannot see the code even in Google. Like that is accessible only by Microsoft employees, right? Because that is developed by Microsoft company. Even if you want to install Windows operating system in your laptop, in your office laptop or personal laptop or in your computer, wherever, you need to get the genuine license. You need to purchase the license from Microsoft. You have to pay some money, like around 1500 rupees to 2000 something, to purchase the license of genuine Windows operating system. And these are the different versions from Windows they have introduced, like Windows 98 version operating system, Windows XP version, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 8.1, Windows 10. Recently, Windows 11 version also launched from Windows uh, operating system. The other operating system apart from Windows is Unix operating system. The source code of Unix is open. Open means like it is open for everyone. It's not secured, it is not confidential. Like Unix operating system source code is open. Anyone can see the programs. Okay. Since the source code is open, then one person called Linus Torvald, he took the source code of Unix operating system. He added his own code changes on top of that. He modified that code changes and then he named that operating system as Linux operating system. So basically, Linux operating system is originated from Unix only. That Linus Torvald did not write the source code from scratch. He used the source code of Unix. He modified some changes. He added his own code changes on top of that. Then he named that operating system as Linux operating system. It's Linux is like a child to Unix. Not only Linus Torvald took the source code from Unix, even IBM company also took source code from Unix. They also added their flavors. Then they named that operating system as AIX operating system. Even HP company also took the source code. Then they named it as HP UX operating system. And very popular, we all know, Apple also took the source code from Unix. On top of that, they added their changes and then they named it as Mac operating system. Sun Microsystems company also used Unix source code. They added their flavors. Then they have named that OS as Solaris operating system. So here, if you observe Linux, AIX, HPUX, Mac operating system, Solaris operating system, all these are originated from Unix only. No one has written the source code from scratch. They used existing code of Unix, then they added their flavors. If you want to install Solaris operating system in your laptop, you need to pay money to Sun Microsystem for genuine license. Even Mac OS also you cannot get for free. You have to pay money for Apple. HPUX also you need to pay money for HP company. AX also you need to pay money for IBM company. But Linux is not like that. That Linus Torvald, that person, he kept the Linux source code also open. Whereas these four operating systems, they are not developed by some normal independent persons. They are developed by some big companies like IBM, HP, Apple, Sun Microsystems. So that's why they're not giving it for free. They're not keeping the source code open. But Linux operating systems source code is open. Again, what companies will do if the source code of Linux is open? Again, like Amazon company also took the source code of Linux. Amazon company added their own code changes. Then it named as Amazon Linux operating system. So Amazon Linux operating system is developed by Amazon company. It took the source code from Linux, but actually Linux is developed by Linux operating system took the source code from Unix. So Amazon Linux is the like combination. It's a mixture of 80% of Unix operating system, 10% Linux, and 10% Amazon Linux. That is the combination of Amazon Linux. Even Red Hat company took the source code of Linux and then they named it as Red Hat Enterprise Linux OS, RHEL. And CentOS operating system also originated from Linux. CentOS means Community Enterprise Operating System. A group of people together developed an OS called CentOS. And even Ubuntu also originated from Linux. Debian also originated from Linux. SUSE also originated from Linux. In this slide, whatever the operating systems you are seeing, all these are originated from Unix. Unix is the main operating system. From Unix, like many flavors got created. Okay. So this is the history of operating systems. Till here, any doubts in this slide?
But Unix is not open source, no?
Unix is open source. That's why these are all created. Any other questions?
But Linux is open source, right? Unix is not, correct?
Unix is an open source. That's why Linux is originated from Unix. IBM AX also originated from Unix. All these operating systems are originated from Unix. Again, here Linux also open source. So from Linux, this Amazon Linux, all these are originated.
Is Linux free?
Yes. These all operating systems are originated from Linux. And
What about CentOS? Is it free of cost?
these all flavors are originated from Unix, directly from Unix. And these all originated from Linux. CentOS also,
Everything is open source, right?
no, not everything is an open source.
Only Linux is open source. Remaining all okay, Unix and Linux.
Now, next, coming to architecture between Windows and Linux operating system. First, let's understand the architecture of Windows operating system. So let's see here we have a hardware. Hardware is nothing but a physical device like computer or laptop. In that new hardware, in the new laptop, we installed operating system. Which operating system? Windows operating system. Because we are discussing about Windows architecture. Once you install Windows operating system, then on top of that, you can see shell also. Shell is nothing but command prompt. Do you know command prompt in your laptops, computers? Shell.
Yeah.
Command prompt is nothing but shell. Okay. On top of shell, we have here additional GUI also, graphical user interface. This GUI is like, it is console of Windows operating system. So whatever the user want to give input, all the inputs are given to GUI only. Whether you want to create files, you want to create folders, like whatever you want to do, we interact with the GUI of Windows operating system because Windows has GUI, graphical user interface. You all know right about GUI? GUI means the console, whatever the options, buttons, everything you're seeing, the time, this all this colors, buttons, icons in your screen. That is called GUI. Idea? Do you have any idea about GUI?
Yeah, it is graphical interface, right? For every application.
Next.
What about Shell? It is the script, right?
No,
Scripting language.
no, that is command prompt. Shell is nothing but command prompt.
Command prompt means which kind of commands?
In your, are you listening to the class in your laptop?
What?
Are you listening the session in your mobile or computer or laptop where you are listening this class?
Laptop.
Okay. Is it Windows operating system?
Yes.
click on your Windows Start button and press R. Windows Start button R. You will see
Windows Start or Alt.
Windows logo button will be there, right? Start button.
Hmm.
Press that
Hmm.
with R. Mine is not Windows, that's why I'm not showing. Enable. This one. Command prompt means. If you
Okay. Okay. This kind of.
This is command prompt, nothing but shell.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, in Linux architecture, we have hardware here also. In first, the main difference between Windows architecture and Linux architecture will be the GUI only. Here we give input to GUI in Windows, but in Linux operating system, here also we have hardware. Here also we install kernel. Kernel is nothing but operating system. Once you install kernel, you will see shell screen here. But the user will give inputs directly to shell because here we don't have any GUI. That is the main difference between Windows and Linux. Since you don't have any GUI to interact, what users will do, user has to execute the commands to interact anything. Okay. This is the difference between Windows architecture and Linux architecture. Now you understood what is meant by shell and GUI.
Yes, understand.
GUI is nothing but see these buttons, whatever icons you're seeing, the top you're seeing this timestamp, like all the buttons. Like here options, like this is called GUI, graphical user interface, but in Linux it won't be like this. In Linux how it will be means like this. You will see black screen. You don't have any options, buttons, time, folder icons, nothing will be there. It is just like black screen, shell screen only. So where you will click, you can't click anything. You have to interact with the Linux operating system by executing the commands only. So that's why people learn Linux operating system. People don't learn Windows because everyone can work with Windows operating system, even without learning also. Just by looking into the options, like one can understand easily. But Linux is not like that because here we need to execute commands. Okay. Next, advantages of Linux operating system is it is open source. That means available but for free of cost. You don't need to pay anything. It's for free. And it's also lightweight. Lightweight means it occupies very less storage for installing the operating system also. Performance is very fast because of less storage. Normally, if you install Windows operating system in your laptop, it usually takes 15, 16 GB. But if you install Linux operating system, it will occupies only 2 GB storage, hardly, maximum 2 GB storage. Because of that, performance is also very fast and it is highly secured compared to Windows operating system. These are the advantages of mainly in Linux operating system. It doesn't really need any antivirus softwares also. Differences between Windows and Linux. In Windows, we call administrator. Administrator means when you purchased a new laptop, you're installing operating system. You will say you will connect to Wi-Fi. You will set up date, time, and it will ask the username. You will give your name, you will type your name. So that name, like if I am typing my name Arvind, then that user Arvind is the administrator for that laptop. Means that Arvind user can do anything. He can install programs, he can uninstall programs. He will have all the permissions. Administrator will have all the permissions. In Linux operating system, we call him root user. In Windows, we call him administrator. So basically both are same, but the words are different. Here we call administrator, there we call root user. Both have all permissions, all privileges. In Windows, we call folder, like create folder like this. Here we call directory. Here we use the word software, install that software, install this software like this. but here we call as packages. And here we use backward slash for separating the path, and here we use forward slash for separating the path. This one, backward slash and forward slash for separating the paths. These are some differences between Windows operating system and Linux operating system. Next, file system hierarchy. Hierarchy means like tree structure. In Windows, everything starts from C drive first. When you install Windows operating system, first you see C drive. Then inside C drive, you will have many folders like program files, users, program files, x86, Windows, like different subfolders are there. Again, if you go inside users, again you have downloads, documents, desktop. Again, if you go under downloads, again you will have subfolders. That is like tree structure. Similarly, in Linux operating system also, we have file system hierarchy. Like this is called root directory. It is a directory. Directory means what?
Folder.
Folder.
Yes.
Where all the files are stored.
So here we have a root directory. Inside root directory, again we have subdirectories like another root directory, home directory. Inside home, again we have one more directory called EC2 user directory. Again here we have etc directory, USR directory, boot directory, bin directory, sbin directory, and many more. Not only these, whatever you are seeing. Like again under sbin, many more. Under bin also we have plenty of directories. Under boot we have many. Under USR, it's like very big file system hierarchy. I'm just showing you some top level hierarchy. Now you need to understand here mainly about what is this forward slash, what is this. This is like top level root. Like beyond this, we don't have anything else. This is like the main folder. We should not call this as forward slash. We should call it as a root directory. But this is also root directory. This is also root directory. It will be confusion, right? So that's why here we call it as top level root. This is normally root. So this is main directory. Inside that we have subdirectory. This is also root directory. Difference is it is represented symbolically with some forward slash symbol. It is represented with alphabets like ROOT. But pronunciation wise, root directory only. To avoid confusion, call it as top level root, call it as just normal root directory. Okay, now coming to this root directory. What is root directory? Root directory is the home for root user. Home directory is the home for normal users. See, in any system, you will have root user and normal users. Just like, for example, in a building, ground floor 13 BHK is there, and first floor 2 BHK, 2 BHK. Here owners will stay, here tenants. Who will have all the permissions on this building, whether owners or tenants?
Owner.
Owner will have all the permissions. Owner can do anything. If you want to construct one more room, he can do. If you want to change the colors, he can change. If you want to remove the users, these tenants, he can remove because he is the boss of the building. He can do anything. But where owner will stay? Owner will stay in this ground floor. This is the home for owner. This is the home for 2 BHK tenant. This is the home for another 2 BHK tenant. Similarly, here, this is the home for root user. Means the owner of the operating system, nothing but root user. And this is the home for normal users. Normal users are like tenants. The difference is root user will have all permissions. They can do anything. Normal users will have restrictions. They will have only limited permissions. In root directory, root user will stay. In home directory, all the normal users will stay. That is the main thing you need to remember. Remaining all this, what is etc, what is, even if you don't know also, no problem. That is not important also. But you should understand mainly what is this root directory, what is this home directory. Root is the home for root user, home is the home for normal users. Is that clear?
Yes.
This etc directory, inside this, all the configuration files are present. Configuration files of the operating system. present in this directory. And in user directory, if you install anything in your Linux server, let's say you downloaded Tomcat and installed, you downloaded some Git package and you installed Jenkins, you installed Docker, like where these packages will be installed. By default, all these are installed in USR. Just like in Windows operating system, if you download and install anything, by default, they are installed in program files. Have you noticed this? All the softwares, whatever you install in Windows, they will install in program files folder. Similarly, in Linux operating system, whatever packages you install, that will be installed under USR directory. Here, all bootable files contains here commands for normal users, commands for root user. So this is the file system hierarchy. Okay. This is like top level root. Root is present under top level. So this is root is a home directory for root user. Home is a home directory for other users. Boot contains bootable files. etc contains configuration files. USR directory contains, by default, packages are installed in this directory. Bin contains commands. Sbin also contains commands. And we are going to learn all these Linux commands. If you want to practice Linux commands, what is required? Where will you practice Linux commands? Can you practice in your Windows operating system Linux commands?
No,
No.
we have to install Linux OS.
Yes, correct. You need to install Linux OS. But already in your laptops, computers, Windows is running, right? If Windows is running, how can you install Linux? That is not possible, right? That's why what we did yesterday, we have created AWS accounts, right? In AWS account, we have many services. Like as I told you yesterday, like we have many services like EC2, S3, VPC, IAM, like many more. Around 200 services are there. Out of these 200 services, there is one service called EC2. This service is like it is Elastic Compute Cloud. The specialty of this service is you can launch virtual servers. Anything you can call, either virtual servers, you can call uh, instances, or you can call virtual machines. Anything is same, the word. So in these virtual machines, you can install any operating system. You can install either Unix, Linux, Red Hat, CentOS, Ubuntu, Mac, Kali Linux, SUSE Linux, whatever the operating system you want, you can install in that virtual machine and you can practice. So now what we are going to do means, from our AWS accounts, we log into our AWS account. Using EC2 service, we are going to launch a virtual machine. In this virtual machine, we will be installing Linux operating system. And once the server is launched, we will log in inside this virtual machine and we will practice all the commands. Got it? Any doubts? If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Silence means
Instead of that, we can launch this, uh, install some softwares, right? On top of it, we can install Linux OS, right?
here our course is about cloud. We are learning AWS cloud, right?
Yeah.
So we are doing everything in cloud, not in our physical servers. Okay.
Okay.
Is my voice is breaking for
No,
everyone?
no, it very clear. Yes.
Okay, Lavanya, maybe that's an issue from your end, network issue from your side only. All right, let's log into AWS account. I'm in Tokyo region. So what is the service name for launching virtual machines?
EC2.
EC2. Search for EC2. Yes, see, in EC2 virtual servers in the cloud. So using this service, we can launch any virtual servers. Click on EC2. So this is the dashboard for EC2 service. Now, I told, right, we can launch virtual machines from EC2. Now, we'll understand a few things. First, we can call server, you can call virtual machine, or you can call instance, anything. Okay. To launch any virtual machine, we need to understand few words, few terminologies. In AWS, AMI means Amazon Machine Image. Amazon Machine Image means it is a template which contains operating system. That could be any operating system, either Windows, Unix, Linux, CentOS, Red Hat, Ubuntu, Debian, any kind of operating system. Along with operating system, you will be having some default packages. Packages means what? Softwares. So this combination we call as Amazon Machine Image. Amazon Machine Image is nothing but any operating system with some default packages. So if you want to launch any instance, obviously we need one Amazon Machine Image. If you want to install Linux, then choose Linux OS. If you want to install CentOS, then choose CentOS related Amazon Machine Image, like that. So Amazon Machine Image is nothing but it is an operating system with some default packages. Then instance type. When you go to any laptop showroom, computer showroom to buy any new laptop, you'll ask them, brother, show me HP laptop. You'll tell. He'll ask you, okay, in HP laptop, we have many configurations. What configuration you need? Then you'll tell, like, I need 16 GB RAM, 1 TB storage, like i5 processor or i7 processor or Intel processor. Like, you will give the configuration. Based on that, he will show you different models. Even here also, when you want to launch any instance, it will ask what type of instance you need. You need 1 GB RAM and one virtual CPU, or you need 2 GB RAM, two virtual CPUs, or you need 2 GB RAM, four virtual CPUs, 4 GB RAM, six virtual CPUs. Like this, we have many combinations, some hundreds of combinations you have. Based on your requirement, you need to choose either 1 GB RAM, 1 CPU core, or 2 GB RAM, 2 CPU core. Like this, you have to select in instance type. Then key pair. Key pair means, like, when you go outside, what you will do? You will lock the door, right? You will lock the door and with a key. Who can go inside this home? If it is locked, who can go inside the home?
Only who having the key.
Yes, only the person who is having the key. Like, so if key is there, then only you can go. Keys here, what it is doing? Key is used to securely access your home. So even here also, we create key pairs to securely access our instances. To securely access our instances, we create key pairs. Then storage, we need to choose how much storage you need. Like, we need 8 GB storage or 80 GB or 800 GB or 100 GB. How much storage you need? Like, all these inputs you need to provide. Then only our instance will be launched. Now we'll see the things practically. This is my EC2 dashboard. What is meant by instance?
It is
Server.
server.
Virtual server.
Virtual server. Instance means virtual server. AWS, Amazon AWS is officially they are using a word called instance. If you see in Azure cloud, they will call virtual machine. In AWS cloud, they will call instance. The words are different, but the concept is same. Both are servers only, but they call as virtual machine. Amazon AWS use the word instance. Right. So to launch any instance, right now I'm launching an instance in Tokyo. Okay, you click on this button, launch instance. Now we need to fill these details. First word. First one. Name. You need to give one name for your machine. I'll give the name as AWS 9 p.m. The next, Amazon machine image. What is meant by Amazon machine image? Operating system with some default packages. Okay. Here you need to select which operating system you want to install in your instance. If you want to install Amazon Linux, select this one. If you want to install macOS, select this one. If you want to install Ubuntu, select this, or Windows or Red Hat or SUSE Linux or Debian, like this. Even in, for example, Windows only, if you choose. In Windows, there are different versions are there, right? You need to choose here. Windows Server 2025 base or Windows Server 2025 core base, Windows Server 2022 base, like many versions are available. If you want to install Amazon Linux only, even in Amazon Linux, we have many versions. Amazon Linux 2023, Amazon Linux 2 with kernel 5.10 version, Amazon Linux 2 with a software SQL Server 2019 standard edition. Many versions are available. Here, are we learning Windows or are we learning Mac or Linux?
We are learning Linux.
Linux.
Linux, right? So we can choose anything. I mean, either Amazon Linux or Ubuntu or Red Hat or SUSE Linux or Debian. Why? Because all these are originated from Linux only. Yes or no?
Yeah. Correct.
Commands will be same. Anything is fine. Why I'm choosing Amazon Linux? Because we are working in AWS cloud. If you choose Amazon Linux, you will get some additional packages, and it is free tier also. This is not charging anything. It is free tier, means absolutely free of cost. If you go for any other versions, this Amazon Linux is not free. It is not free. If you see something like this free tier eligible, then only it is free. I'll go with Amazon Linux 2 version. So next option is AMI. Here we are choosing Amazon Linux 2 version. Then so this is the image ID. Okay, this is Amazon machine image ID, and this is the 64-bit operating system. And default username is EC2 user. And the third one is instance type. What is meant by instance type? Instance means what?
Server.
Server.
Instance means server. Type of instance. What type of instance you need? Whether you need an instance with one virtual CPU and 0.5 GB RAM, then choose T2.nano instance type. If you need one virtual CPU and 1 GB RAM, then choose T2.micro instance type. Like this, we have many versions. Say if you go for this T2.micro, how much RAM we are getting? Only 1 GB RAM. CPUs, only one virtual CPU. But how much they are charging? AWS is charging $0.0198 per hour if it is in Windows OS. If you are choosing this for Linux based operating system, then they're charging $0.0152 per hour, like this. Very less price because configuration is very low. But if you go for some high configurations like 128 CPUs, 512 GB RAM, it is not a small thing. 512 GB RAM means in your laptop hardly how much RAM you will have? No idea.
8 GB, 8 or 16.
16 GB RAM maximum. But here
16.
512 GB RAM, 128 CPUs. How much they are charging per hour? Around $17. $17 means almost 1500 rupees per hour. Means per day around 35,000 rupees. Around 36,000 rupees per day they are charging. If you go for 512 GB RAM and 128 virtual CPUs. And even like not only 512 GB RAM, even More than that also we have many configurations. If you observe here, 976 GB RAM, 36 virtual CPUs. Here, this one is the highest one. 1536 GB RAM memory size, 192 virtual CPUs, and the price is $24 per hour. Okay, and the price is $24 per hour. Very, very cost. For practicing purpose for us, this is more than enough. One virtual CPU, 1 GB RAM, that is more than enough. So here we'll go with T2.micro. That means one virtual CPU and 1 GB RAM. Till here, any questions in 1, 2, 3 steps?
Yeah, you mentioned this one virtual CPU. What exactly it means?
CPU. You are using laptop, right?
Yes.
See how many CPUs you have, how many CPU cores? Like you use i3 processor, i5 processor, Intel processor. Like they have CPU cores, 2 CPU cores, 3 CPU cores. Here for this server also, I'm choosing instance type one virtual CPU means only one CPU core. Okay.
But how it means how it differentiate like one CPU core versus CPU core? What is actual difference?
I did not understand what you're asking. Can you repeat once again?
Oh, yeah, here you mentioned one CPU core, two CPU core, but what the difference between that? What is the core means?
That is the terminology we are using for that CPUs. That is, so you have computer or laptop, right? You know about RAM, CPU, processor, hard disk, motherboard.
Yeah, yeah. I know these all these things. It's I know, but the core things I don't understand. Like
CPU,
if someone asks like yeah,
one virtual CPU. This is why we are calling V. V means virtual. Why virtual CPU? We are physically not taking any CPU from Amazon. These everything is virtual. Even we are launching a virtual machine. These are not physical servers. Okay, everything is through internet via online. We are launching virtual machines. AWS is giving virtual RAM, virtual CPU, virtual memory, everything, virtual storage only. Just like Google, you are uploading your photos, everything. Google Drive is giving you 15 GB storage. Can you see that 15 GB storage? Like, are they giving any hard disk for you to keep the photos in Google Drive? 15 GB storage.
no,
That's a virtual storage, right?
yes.
So even Amazon also giving you the infrastructure virtually, virtual RAM, virtual CPU, virtual memory, storage, any infrastructure, everything it is giving you virtually through a platform called AWS. So here there are many types of processors. One CPU processor, 0.5 GB RAM, two CPU processor, 32 CPU processor, 64 GB RAM. Here two CPU processor, 4 GB RAM. I'm going with the basic version T2.micro, which is free tier because that is sufficient. This configuration is more than enough for my practicing Linux commands. Okay. Still, if you have any question, ask me. Who asked the question?
AMI is the operating system plus packages.
Yes, it is a template which
Okay.
contains operating system with some packages. Packages means softwares.
Okay.
Still any questions? If you have in these three, please ask me. Again, you should not ask me what is Amazon machine image, what is name, what is instance. I'll clarify now itself. Please ask. Okay, fine. The next one, key pair. We have to create a key pair. Key pair is used to securely connect to your instance. You can use a key pair to securely connect to your instance. Ensure that you have access. So let's create a key pair for my server. I can use already existing key pairs. Otherwise, I can create a new key pair also. I'm creating a new key for my instance. Give the name, any name you can give. I'll give AWS key pair type. This is the type, like RSA algorithm. This is an algorithm, and this is another algorithm, like which is encrypted thing. You can choose any algorithm, like let it be RSA only. And the format of the key, what type of key. If you take any photo, the different formats of photo will be the JPG photo, JPEG, PNG format. Like that, the key also having two formats, PEM format, PPK format. Anything is fine. Better go for .pem only. .ppk means one more additional step will be there. That's why I'm telling to go for .pem. That's it. PEM key is downloaded. Go to downloads and check. So AWS key.pem key is downloaded just now. If you open, you will see the completely encrypted data here inside the key. So this is the key pair which I have downloaded just now. Key pair name AWS key.pem. Clear? Feel free to ask any questions. Don't feel shy. If you have any questions, ask. In these 4 steps, this is very, very important. EC2. Very simple. Is launching an instance is very simple. Since this is the first session, right? I'm explaining you each and everything, but once I explain you all, launching instance will not take more than 10 seconds. Now, see, you are not familiar with Amazon Mesh Image, instance type, key pair, security group. So I have to explain each and everything. But once I explain everything, within 10 seconds, you will launch instances. Like that much easy thing it is. And we use this like regularly, almost in every session, we have to launch instances. So that's the reason I'm asking you. If you have any questions, please ask. I'll clarify.
Why we are not selected .ppk or ED? वो RS के बदले ED क्यों नहीं यूज किया?
You can select that one also. No problem.
Hello?
You can select that one also.
I think by default it selects settings. I think default values are also.
In default, that is there. I've gone with that option only. You can choose the other option also. That is not a big deal. You can go with that one also.
Okay.
Now, coming to next one. Security group. Now, this is somewhat important concept, important thing you need to understand more clearly. This is an apartment. In apartment, you have many flats. This is the main entrance gate. This is exit gate. He is the security guard. What is the role? What is the duty of the security guard? This security guard has to protect the apartment 24/7. Maybe in morning shift, night shift, they will rotate. But the duty of security guard is they have to keep apartment very secure. They should always protect the apartment, like in the way, like who is entering inside the apartment, who should we allow, who should not be allowed. Like they will take care of that. If they do, like who will inform to security guard, like as an apartment management, like we inform, like you allow all the owners, you should not stop them. You should not allow strangers like Swiggy delivery boys, courier boys, but should not allow them. And you have to take the details from like friends or relatives, like to which flat you are going. Like you take the details and you allow them inside the building. Like if I am giving some guidelines, some rules, accordingly this security guard will work, so that he will allow only owners and he will not allow the strangers. That means he strictly protecting our apartment based on the rules which I am giving to him. Yes or no?
Yeah, yes.
I need responses from you. If you're not responding, I'll just go and teach the class. Again, you will not understand anything. Now I replace here EC2 instance. To log into any EC2 instance, we need to open port. That is SSH port. So this port is like an entrance for our instance. Like if you want to access any Linux machine, you have to open SSH port. Like let's say from my laptop, this is my Windows laptop. From my Windows laptop, I want to log in to this Linux machine. If you want to log in inside any Linux machine, then this SSH port has to be opened. SSH. This SSH port has to be open. If the port is open, then only I can log in from my laptop to the server. If the port is not open, I cannot access my machine. So where do we define these ports? Which port has to be open? Which port has not to be open? Like that means we have to mention that in security group. Inside security group, we define rules. What we do means we define rules, means which traffic should be allowed, which traffic should not be allowed, means which traffic should come inside the server, which traffic should not come inside the server, that we define in security group. Basically security group is a firewall, which see a security group is a set of firewall rules that control the traffic for your instance. Means inside our instance, whatever the Linux server or Windows server or CentOS server, whatever the virtual machine we are launching, inside that virtual machine, which traffic should be allowed inside, which traffic should not be allowed inside, that we define inside security group. Because security group is like a firewall which always protects our server. Inside this security group, we define the rules. Like how we are defining rules to our security guard, you allow owners, don't allow strangers, like that we have to define the rules inside security group. So that security group will take care of protecting our server as a firewall. Click on edit, create new security group or select existing security group. So already I have created existing security groups, but no, I'm going to create a new security group here. Security group name, you can give any name. I give AWS security group. And description, and I'm giving same description. Let it be, you can give same description also. And first, inbound security group rules. Inbound rules means incoming traffic. It is like entrance gate. Entrance gate, like how an entrance gate will be there for apartment, like that inbound rules is like incoming traffic for your instance. Means inside our EC2 instance, whatever the rules we define in inbound rules, that rules are for entrance gate, like that, like for going inside. A security group rule number 1, by default SSH port is open. Did I open this port, or by default it is showing SSH port?
Default.
By default SSH port is showing. See, we have many ports, not only SSH. If you observe here, we have many ports, but by default SSH port is selected. Why? What is the reason? Because we have chosen Amazon Linux operating system. If we choose Windows operating system, then here you will see different port, RDP. Instead of SSH, you will be seeing the RDP port. For Windows server, for Windows operating system, we open RDP port. For Linux operating system, we open SSH port. Understood?
What is RDP?
Port,
Full form?
Windows. SSH
What?
port, Linux.
Yeah.
What about this SSH full form? Linux, right?
No, SSH means secure shell.
Okay.
We have many ports from port number 0, port number 1, port number 2, port number 3, like that 65,535. These many number of ports are there. From these many number of ports, like port number 22 is called as SSH port. So here we open SSH port, port number 22. RDP port is 3389 port. Like HTTP port is 80. HTTPS port like 443, like this. We have many ports. MySQL port 3306 port. So out of these ports, to access any Linux machine, you need to open SSH port. So that's what opened here. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got
Arvind, other than Windows, if I want to access from other OS, does I need to open SSH protocol?
If your operating system is Unix or Linux, Amazon Linux, CentOS, Red Hat, Ubuntu, Debian, whatever the operating systems originated from Linux, you have to open SSH port. If it is Windows, you need to open RDP port.
And now my doubt is if I am logging from the other than Windows, if my mission is Linux, if I want to connect to another Linux, does I need to open the SSH protocol?
Of course,
Yeah.
from where you are accessing is not important. If you want to access, you need to open the SSH port. If it is Linux, you need to open SSH port.
Okay.
Okay, you might access from Windows. See, I am accessing from my laptop, that is Mac. You are accessing from Linux. Sorry, Windows. You are accessing from Windows. But here it doesn't matter from which operating system you are accessing. It matters only which operating system you are accessing. Okay, I am accessing Linux. Then you need to open SSH.
So what is the full form of SSH?
Secure shell.
Okay.
Secure shell. We need to open secure shell SSH, that is port number 22. Okay, rule number 1 is defined. We are opening SSH port. That means just like in my apartment, entrance gate was opened. The gate is open. If the gate is open, that doesn't mean everyone can go inside the apartment. Even though the gate is open, I can specify only boys can go inside the apartment, like that, or only girls can go, or everyone, like boys, girls, everyone can go, or only this particular apartment builder can go. Like I can filter, I can restrict. So even here also, I'm opening SSH port. That doesn't mean anybody can access Linux machine. If I choose here source type as my IP, then only from my laptop only I can access that Linux machine from this IP address 49.43.219.149.149/32. From this particular IP address of my laptop only I can access. No, I want to give access for everyone in the world. Then choose anywhere. That means anyone, like you people can also log into this newly launched Linux machine from your laptops, from my laptop, from if you are people from America, Australia, India, wherever you are, you can access the machine. If I give anywhere, if I give custom, that means let's say myself and my friend, we both should only access. Rest of them should not access. Then I'll give my IP address like 49.112.54.60. So this is my IP and I'll give my friend's IP address 67 dot. I'm giving some random IP address, don't worry.
How do you know your IP address and your friend's IP address? Where
That,
you got it?
that's what I told. I'm giving random IP address, don't worry, I said.
Okay.
So I'm giving some custom IP address of mine and my friend. So we both people only can access. Rest of the IPs will not be allowed inside the instance. So the traffic, SSH traffic from my IP and from my friend's IP will be only allowed if I give like this. Now, if I give my IP, then only from my laptop only the traffic will be allowed. If I give anywhere, see, rules with this 0.0.0.0 allow all IP addresses to access your instance. Means anyone from any laptop can access this machine. But one more condition is there. Even if I give anywhere, you have to log in using a key only. But do you people have the key?
No, you need to share with
I
someone,
won't,
then only they can log in.
I won't share. Then I only can access, right? Even if I open anywhere here.
Yeah, yeah.
So
You
that's why here it is showing you some warning. Rules with the source 0000 /0. It allows all IP addresses to access your instance. So we are recommending you to change the settings of security group rules to allow access from known IP addresses only. It is telling no problem. Even if I give 000 also, no worries, because the key is with me. Even if I'm sharing the screen to you, you cannot log in because you don't have the key, right? That is not a big problem. Here, security group. Which port we have opened in our security group inbound rules?
SSH 22.
Very good. SSH port number 22. Source type to whom we opened?
Anyway,
Anywhere means
Anyone.
anyone can access, that is 0.0.0.0.0. IP address means from all IPs can able to access. So in inbound rules, we have opened only one rule in that is allowing SSH traffic from any IP address. Then sixth one is storage. How much storage you need for your EC2 instance? I need 8 GB storage. If you want to take more also, you can take more. That is not a problem. See, if I want to take 20 GB also, I can take 20 GB. Now I want to take 30 GB also, okay, 30, 300 GB or 3000 GB, anything. But the issue is you have to pay the bills. AWS is giving you maximum 30 GB only for free of cost. For free tier account per month, they are giving only up to 30 GB. If you exceed, then AWS will generate the bills. Amazon company will generate the bills for you for additional storage which you are using. Why to take unnecessarily? So let's go with 8 GB only. Then finally, number of instances. How many instances you want to launch? You can choose at a time how many servers you want to launch. Number of servers. One means it will launch only one server. 2 means it will launch 2 servers. 20 means it will launch 20 servers. 200 servers at a time. But no, for me one server is sufficient. So finally review. So we are using Amazon Machine Images, Amazon Linux 2, virtual instance type T2.micro means one virtual CPU, 1 GB RAM. Security group, we have created a new security group, that is we opened SSH port, that is 22 number. Storage 8 GB, number of instances 1, launch instance. I'm clicking on launch instance button.
So what is the purpose of taking more servers so each server into 8 GB RAM, or how does it
It's like
go?
pins with the same configuration, multiple replicas will be created. You went to a Xerox shop, you have given your Aadhaar card to take Xerox copies. You're asking 10 Xerox copies. With this is the original Aadhaar card, he will give you 10 copies. Just like that, with the same configuration like T2.micro, 8 GB storage, that key pair, security group with the same configuration. If you give 200 in number of instances, 200 servers will be launched with the same configuration.
Okay. So why do we take multiple servers at a time, like
That
to load the
we'll discuss
to
later. We'll understand
okay.
one server.
Okay.
Click on view all instances. In Tokyo region, we have launched the instance. Instance launched successfully and instance also running. Name of the instance is AWS 9 PM and this is instance ID. Instance ID is like a rule number. In your section, like rule number 1 means only one person, rule number 30 means only one person. That is a unique number. Here also instance ID will be unique. If I launch another instance, this ID and that ID both will be different. So instance ID is like unique ID, and the state of the server, it is running. There are three states like running, stopped, terminated. Right now it is running. And instance type, we have choose T2.micro, 1 CPU, 1 GB RAM. And status check, it is still initializing. Soon, within 1-2 minutes, it will come to 2 by 2. Still it is initializing. And this instance launched in Asia Pacific Northeast 1C zone. If you don't choose any availability zone, by default, it will choose a random zone. In Tokyo, we have 3 zones like 1A, 1C, 1D. I have explained you in AWS Global Infrastructure. Each region is split into multiple availability zones. Like here, this instance was launched in Asia Pacific Northeast 1C. In Tokyo, we have 3 zones, 1A, 1C, 1D. It launched in 1C zone. Then this is the DNS host name for my instance, and here is the public IP address. And this is the security group which we have created, and this is the key pair name, and this is the launch time of our instance. The platform, which operating system is running here, the core operating system is Linux, Unix, the core one. If you select this checkbox, you can see more details under details tab, like instance ID, public IP address, private IP address, instance state running, DNS hostname, like all the details of your machine you can see here. Like the key pair name, launch time, like operating system ID, Amazon machine image ID, platform, Linux, Unix, like all the details you can see here. Instance launched successfully. Now, I want to log in inside this Linux machine from my base machine. From my Linux machine, I want to access. For that, we need few details. Like that particular instance details are required for me. So here, steps to connect. First, from my machine, I need to open command prompt. Then I need to switch to downloads. I have to give this command ssh-i key pair name, username, and public IP address. Then it will take me to the particular instance which I have logged in. If you type this command, you can access your instance. This command is having 3 things, like key pair name. This is key pair name, username, public IP address. So I want to access this machine, right? So for this machine, we have a unique public IP address. So that public IP address you have to mention in the command. For this instance, we have downloaded one key pair. That key pair you need to mention in the command. For this instance, we have a default username. That username you need to mention in the command. If you mention all the 3 details of like key pair, username, public IP, then we can able to access that Linux machine from your laptop. Understood? Here is the public IP address. Key pair is in my downloads. And the default username. To know the default username, click on connect. So this is the default username, EC2 user. Now let's access our machine. Open command prompt. For me, I need to open terminal. You need to open command prompt. I'm opening terminal because mine is Mac. Yours, if you are using Windows, open command prompt. My key pair is available in downloads, right? So switch to downloads. You should be in downloads, and you need to enter one key. This is number 5. So you need to enter one command, that is ssh space -i. What is the key pair name? AWS key. Default username EC2 user @ IP address. Copy IP address and paste here. This is the command I'm using, ssh space -i. You cannot execute this command from anywhere, from your desktop, documents, down, like you can't give from anywhere. If your key pair is in downloads, you should be in downloads and execute the command. If your key pair is in desktop, then you should change your path to desktop and execute the command. Now I'm hitting enter. It is asking, are you sure you want to continue connecting? Yes. So from my base machine, from my local, from my laptop, I logged into Linux machine. Right now I'm in Linux server. What is the proof I'm in Linux? Amazon Linux only means, see, I'll open operating system details. Amazon Linux operating system version 2. OS details. Understood?
From which software you logged into the server? I think it is the putty, right?
Command prompt.
Okay.
In command prompt, you need to execute this command, SSH command.
Yeah. Before SSH, I would have done one more command, right? chmod.
chmod.
What is that?
That is not required for you.
Okay. You given the permission for the file, right? That's what I'm asking.
Yes, I have given permissions, but for you means, I mean for Windows, that is not required. So that's why I am not explaining that command. For Windows, it is not required.
Okay. First of all, I need to install putty as well, right? For login to the server in
Not required.
local Windows machine.
Not required. Command prompt. From command prompt, you can execute that command. And you
Okay.
can
Git bash also we can use git bash and putty.
we have many tools, putty, mputty, directly from the browser. Many approaches are there.
Okay. Can you show that directly from close?
If you want to connect directly from the browser also, like you need to choose. Anyways, I'll be explaining that one also, even if you don't ask. So you need to select the instance, click on connect, click on connect. So directly we can access that Linux machine from the browser only. Here it is not asking you to enter any command, enter public IP address, enter key pair name or something else, because here we are not using any third-party tool. Directly from the browser we are connecting. cat slash /os release Amazon Linux 2 operating system.
Here, what is etc? etc means
That
it does
is
have.
not required now. You just understand launching the instance. See, you people are asking me 10th, in 10th session, whatever we discuss, in 20th session, whatever we discuss, you are asking me advanced doubts. As of now, you ask me whatever I'm explaining. This is Linux topic. What is etc means? That is a Linux commands, but I'm not explaining you Linux commands, right? What I'm explaining, launching a Linux machine and how to access a Linux machine.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So here, this is a private IP address of server 172.31.11.132. See, 172.31.11.132. We accessed this machine using public IP address from terminal, but once we accessed, we can able to see private IP also. And once your practice is done, you can stop the machine. Select and click on stop. Reboot means it will restart. Terminate means it will delete the server. So you should not terminate by mistakenly, like, because you cannot recover the data again. If something is present here, that will be lost. You cannot recover back again. But if you stop that, again you can start. But if you terminate, you cannot get back. Now it is stopping. Instance is stopping. Once the instance stopped successfully, then it will be released. You cannot see the public IP address.
Can we terminate it in command prompt directly?
From the console only.
Okay.
See, instance got stopped and public IP also released. If the instance is stopped, no, you cannot log into the server, because without public IP address you cannot access, right? See here, it closed, connection closed automatically because in the back end the server was stopped. Now again, if you want to log in, you need to start this machine. Instance did start. Successfully started the instance.
Okay. Will you teach advanced concept like Meson Lambda concept for
Have you
serverless concept? These are the server concept, right?
enrolled for the course?
Yes, yes.
I have explained you in the first session what all topics are covered. You can go through the course curriculum, okay? Copy the public IP address, and again, this time it will generate a new public IP. Now again, I'm inside the machine. I logged in. If I do exit, I'll come outside of the Linux machine. Connection closed. I'm back to my base machine. That's all for today. In today's session, we have discussed about how to launch Linux server via EC2 service and how to log into Linux machine. These two topics we have discussed. So your task is same. You also log into your EC2 instance, like launch one Amazon Linux machine and log into that machine. Tomorrow I'll start explaining Linux commands from tomorrow onwards. That's all for today. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. I'll silent the session.
Sir,
Yes.
yesterday we have created AWS account, right?
Okay.
That the registration is not completed. It has stopped in the step 3. So can we create an instance now using incomplete registration?
No, it's not possible. If your account is not activated, you cannot create. There might be an issue with your card details. Are you stuck in the
Yes,
card?
it is showing an issue in the card only. Actually, my debit card is I'm entering the correct details of my debit card, but it is not taking.
So if debit card is not
Right.
working, use
Yeah,
credit.
but
Wait.
yeah.
Let me finish my phone. If your debit card is not working, use credit card. And sometimes your card will, by default, for your card, there will be something like domestic transactions, international transactions. If international transactions is disabled, if it is disabled, that card will not work because whatever the card details you are entering, after entering the card details, Amazon will deduct 2 rupees. That is an international transaction. If this option was disabled, then you cannot proceed further. So check in your net banking app or that mobile banking app in the cards. If it was not allowed that international transactions, then you enable this transaction and try. And your card must be either American Express, MasterCard, Visa card, Rupee card. Only either of these four will be accepted. If debit card is not working, use credit card. These cards should not be mandatory of yours only. Those can be your parents, friends, relatives, anyone's, if they are giving. Yes, you can ask something. You're saying something, right?
I have one doubt. How it is enable domestic option in online?
That you can check in your mobile banking app. If you're using some ICICI credit card, from your ICICI mobile banking app will be there right in your phone. There you will have that option. Card.
I had checked a lot of times, but I didn't get. Where is any proper option? Is there?
Okay, you do one thing in YouTube, you search for that how to enable international transactions on my card. They will show you many tutorials are there because that is banking related thing, right? That
Yes.
AWS related thing.
Ah,
Okay, then. Thank you all. We'll continue tomorrow. Bye.